start with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as our top story, President Trump's nominee to be the next Secretary of Health and Human Services. He'll appear before the Senate Finance Committee for his first confirmation hearing today. Now, ahead of that, his cousin Caroline Kennedy is speaking out, warning senators that while RFK Jr. is family, he is not the right choice for this job. In a video posted to social media, Caroline Kennedy accuses RFK Jr. of being a, quote, predator who should be rejected by the Senate.
Now that Bobby has been nominated by President Trump to be Secretary of Health and Human Services, a position that would put him in charge of the health of the American people, I feel an obligation to speak out. Overseeing the FDA, the NIH, the CDC, and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, agencies that are charged with protecting the most vulnerable among us, is an enormous responsibility and one that Bobby is unqualified to fill. He lacks any relevant government, financial, management, or medical experience. His views on vaccines are dangerous and willfully misinformed. These facts alone should be disqualifying. I've known Bobby my whole life. We grew up together. It's no surprise that he keeps birds of prey as pets, because Bobby himself is a predator. He's always been charismatic, able to attract others through the strength of his personality, his willingness to take risks and break the rules. I watched his younger brothers and cousins follow him down the path of drug addiction. His basement, his garage, his dorm room were always the center of the action, where drugs were available, and he enjoyed showing off how he put baby chickens and mice in a blender to feed to his hawks. It was often a perverse scene of despair and violence. That was a long time ago, and people can change. Through his own strength and the many second chances he was given by people who felt sorry for the boy who lost his father, Bobby was able to pull himself out of illness and disease. I admire the discipline that took and the continuing commitment it requires. But siblings and cousins who Bobby encouraged down the path of substance abuse suffered addiction, illness, and death, while Bobby has gone on to misrepresent, lie, and cheat his way through life. Bobby is addicted to attention and power. Bobby preys on the desperation of parents of sick children, vaccinating his own kids while building a following hypocritically discouraging other parents from vaccinating theirs. Even before he fills this job, his constant denigration of our healthcare system and the conspiratorial half-truths he's told about vaccines, including in connection with Samoa's deadly 2019 outbreak of measles, have cost lives.
I can't even imagine how painful that must have been for, I mean, she's a very private person, and just from as a point of view of someone who's had a sibling who's nominated, this is such a proud moment for a family when someone in your family is asked to serve. And I can't even imagine what it took to say all those things and put them out in the public square, Willie.
And this comes months after his own siblings. Caroline, of course, is his cousin. His own siblings came out and spoke out against his presidential campaign and said he shouldn't be anywhere near the White House. Rev, as Mika said, Caroline Kennedy doesn't do this. She doesn't. No. This probably took a lot for her to get out in front of a camera and give such a detailed critique, not just of his views on medicine and vaccines, but of his character. She's indicting the character of a guy she grew up with for her entire life and saying he just shouldn't be anywhere near running our health system.
And she's not that type of person. I've met her on several occasions, and she's very private. She's not one you can enlist on a cause, whatever's hot at the hour, can you come? She's not that type of person. She's very deliberate. So I would think that this was very painful for her and well thought out that she had to do this, to call her cousin a predator who she grew up with, and to say, yes, people can change, but he hasn't. I remember, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, when we were doing the Choose Healthy Life during the COVID-19, and we were having vaccination for people at black churches. At the historic Abyssinian Baptist Church where Adam Clayton Powell pastored, we had a vaccine display. Reverend Calvin Butts, who's passed now, and others with Deborah Fraser House. Bobby Kennedy had people picket the black church against vaccines. We told people, if you want one, fine. If you don't, no. They picketed this kind of venomous behavior while he was vaccinating his own children.
No, that's the insanity of it all. And during COVID,
right,
when I would have friends who were supporters of this new anti-vax lunacy, just total lunacy on the basics, I would remind them, like, you vaccinated your own children 6 times before they went to school. You were vaccinated. Your parents vaccinated you. And now suddenly, because the funny thing is, conservatives, we used to make fun of the hippies on the West Coast that were anti-vaxxers. Because it was so crazy. You look, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the states in the Deep South, Arkansas, they had the highest vaccination rates. And the truly disadvantaged were the greatest beneficiaries of that. And these diseases wiped out. Now, I'm going to read another op-ed at some point, but this is Wall Street Journal editorial page, Jason Riley, and I'll read more of it later. I mean, he's very conservative, Trump-supporting guy. But he's talking about something that I've been thinking about over the past couple of days, and that is that every administration overreaches and every administration pays for overreaching. And you talk to people in the Trump administration, people around the Trump administration, they believe, like everybody who walks through those gates, that this is the end of history. They're smartest people ever to walk through the gates, and everybody. Meek and I will not say the administration we said this to, but really, you think you're the smartest people ever? Do you not think the people that left with a 22% approval rating at the end of their administration when they walked through the gates also thought they were the smartest people ever? Yeah, you're not. We've seen this rodeo before.